Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Is Roger Chen from Center for Business Studies and Innovation of Asia Pacific, University of San Francisco. Mr. Lippo Tan, we are very pleased and thank you for helping us to do this interview program. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I think thank you for inviting me. I'm an executive chairman of Cadence Design and also chairman and founding managing partner of the Walden Group that include Walden International, Walden Catalyst, Celeste Capital. We manage about $5 billion of asset under management. And I did my undergrad from Nanyang Technology University in physics. Then I did my graduate school at MIT, nuclear engineering. And then I also did my MBA at USF.
Discussion topic: what I did to transform and grow Cadence.
First question relates to your great success in transforming Cadence. So could you share with us the so-called business strategies you adopted to transform and also successfully grow Cadence?
Yeah, I was asked to step in as the interim CEO in October 2008. And then I promised the board doing for 3 months. And then, as you know, I'm a very active venture capital investor.
Yeah.
And so they asked me to step in for 3 months, and then 3 months become 14 years. And so the company is in a very big crisis. Stock went down to $2.42. So I have to, first of all, approach, survivors, walk and crawl, and then before I run and sprint. So look back, couple of things I did. On the business strategy side, I changing the EDA, electronic design automation. So everything that electronic that you use, mostly using my tool and software. So I changed it to become the intelligent system design. And basically is the increase of TAM market from 10 billion to 30 billion. That's how I expand the business. And then secondly, I also changed the business model. Used to be, when I took over, is a perpetual license. And then I changed it to a subscription model, software as service. Normal, our contract is 2.5, 3 years. So it's a really ratable business. It's a very big change. And so I'm very glad we did that. And then driving the business. And then later on, we can talk about the culture change. That's one of the big things. And then the other part, try to drive, business success. And then there's a rule of 45 that how you measure the success of the company. It basically is a revenue growth plus operating margin. When I took over, revenue growth is a single digit, low single digit, and operating margin is a loss. And so then I built it up. Of the last quarter, our revenue growth is 19%, and our operating margin is 40%. So instead of rule of 45, I'm rule of 59. And so it's a very big transformation. And Wall Street reward us, from $2.42. When I stepped down as a CEO, I become executive chairman. Our stock is like, $200+ shares. So increase the shareholder value by almost 84 times during this period. So that's something that we are proud of, this whole transformation on the business strategy, business model change, and also addressing the TAM market is an addressable target market by 3 times so that we can continue to grow.
Yeah, that's very good. Actually, later on, I will probably ask you to elaborate the cultural change and also your leadership in our later questions. Earlier, you talked about 2 major changes. One is about the product change. The other one is a business model change. Would you please give us a little bit kind of a background information, the process of making decisions to go with these changes and, any learnings and mistakes or, reflections on those two major shifts that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, first of all, I think, the very important change is that the business model change. And when you do perpetual license, the perpetual sales is only one-time sales. And in fact, when I came on board, I asking for become a CEO, I asking for weekly sales report. They said none. And I said, what happened? How do you guys manage the company? They said everything happened in the last week of the quarter. So, you don't plan for it. And it's just very scary. How do you run the business? So I decided, stock down to almost 800 million market cap. So I told them, told my board, it's the right time to make the business model change. So it's more predictable. But it's a very risky change. When you change the revenue model to subscriptions, your revenue almost dropped by half. So some of my customer even asking me, are you bankrupting the company? And I said, no, nothing have changed, but I just don't want to do everything in last week of the quarter. And so they said, well, in the past, your sales team jumped over the fence to sign the contract. But I told him that no, and I see you in the beginning of the quarter. And so that's a big dramatic change. The other part is, the product, when I asked the first year I took over, I was visiting almost 1,500 customers.
Wow.
And I'm still doing that a lot. And then, customers said that we complain to you about the product quality and everything else. And it's almost dropped in the ocean, no response back. So I kind of changed the culture that you need to respond in 24 hours. Whether you don't have an answer, but at least you said that, well, we look into it. I think a couple of things changed. I decided to change the culture of innovations and always believe that the best product win. And innovation, in the past, Cadence is always buying company and then to, expand your product line. And so we decided not to do that. And we decided to organically develop internally. Right now, every year we have about 8 to 12 new products organically developed. I provide the incentive for the team to drive innovation instead of they leave the company and then build it, and the company had to acquire them back at a much higher price. So that's something I did. And then second, so I think a pipeline of new product is very important. I mentioned earlier about the quality. The product quality is very important. So I install a deal quality matrix. So the salespeople had to work with my CFO and myself to, we have templates in terms of what kind of deal we will accept. And then unless it's not meet those requirements with the exception, then they come back to me with a presentation why we not to do that. So we hold the quality of the deal very diligently, and we don't just accept any low price, crazy term from the customer. So that is something that it protect the value of the products. And then thirdly is I put together this product performance quality measurement. And then I have a team that doing the quality across all the product line and then have them directly report to me. So, and I create, the multiplier for quality. And then so beside the company performance, individual performance, I add on the quality performance multiplier. And then so, the multiplier, if you're really damn good, is one in the multiple of 1 or 1.2. If it's really bad, can be down to 0.3. So whatever that bonus multiplied by 0.3 is quite severe. So you get people attention on it. And I told my board, the best way for me to drive the quality improvement is whoever get the lowest quality performance on the product groups, that will be my quality multiplier.
Oh.
So everybody got shake up, you don't want your CEO get the lowest multiplier 0.3. And so that helped a lot. And then, so I think that business model change and then the, product change and also the customer engagement are changing. So I mentioned earlier, I like to have 24, 48 hours to respond to the customer. And then I call it the speed and agility become part of our culture. And then secondly, I also emphasize not just meet the customer requirement, we have delight the customer. And, customer have to praise us. And then that is very important. And so that we work as one team and then building that culture of delighting the customer, go extra mile for the customer, and then delight customer. That's a key for our success.
Thank you for watching.